This from CBS Sports, Chris Trapasso, 3-round mock draft. He has the Browns taking Trey Benson, running back from Florida State, at 54 in the second round. Then in the third round, coming back and taking Dominic Pooney, offensive lineman from Kansas. So what are your thoughts about Benson and Benson in the second round, Pooney in the third?
Listen, Trey Benson is a terrific back. I mean, he really is the whole package. I find it hard to believe the Browns will take a running back at 54, Dave. But Dominic Pooney is an excellent offensive lineman, and if they could get him with their third round pick, I would sign up for that now. So I do like that one a lot. So yeah, I like Trey Benson. He's a great player. I just think that they'll probably, like people ask now, they've kind of checked every kind of, checked off all the boxes on this roster, Dave, so they can really take best player available, but they should take best player available in a position of higher value. So, probably not a running back there.
Yeah, and when you look at it, if like a wide receiver, they haven't had the ability to develop wide receiver. They haven't had any success developing wide receivers. We'll just be honest about that.
Yeah.
Who are some guys that we hear that they're going to meet with Corley? Corley might be a guy that takes a little bit of time to develop, just because of in nothing against Western Kentucky, but he's not facing SEC and Big Ten competition week in, week out. If Corley's there, is that a guy you could see them?
Yes, like him a ton. Big fan. I like what he brings athletically, physically. If he is there, I think that they should try to take him. And certainly, you're going to take a look at the other options, but I am a big fan of Corley. So I think that he is certainly intriguing. I think that one thing we need to keep an eye on when we talk about 54 and even the third round pick, Dave, is offensive line and tackle. So going to next year, we're going to see some changeover on that offensive line, right? And they need to start preparing for that now. So by doing such a good job in free agency and kind of where you're at, I see the only need on the roster is maybe a third tight end. I don't really count Ricci as a pass catching guy, so I think you still kind of need to fill that Harrison Bryant role and add some depth there. So that's the only position I can see them trying to fill in free agency, maybe. But they've kind of hit everything else on the roster. If you add McLeod in there, so they can take anybody they want here and kind of look to the future. I think tackle would be a prudent move.
Well, as you look at some guy that you'd consider a home run if he's there in the second round, who are some names you would consider to be, home runs for Andrew Berry? And like you said, these are guys that he's going to find somebody that he thinks can play in the league 4 or 5 years. That's kind of what you're looking at in the second round.
Yeah, I think that. I think Corley would be a home run, honestly. I had him written down before. I've talked about him a lot. Kingsley Suamashia from BYU, I think, is a tremendous tackle prospect. Now, listen, this is a great draft for tackle. So who they like at tackle, I think, whoever that is at 54. But that's a name I kind of have checks all the boxes for me. And then if you're looking at, like, we talked about Trey Benson or later in the draft, Dave, even a guy that I like, maybe, they talk about how thin this draft is, right? Because of the NIL and guys can go back and make their money in college and the age range. I think I'm pretty intrigued by, not in the second or third round, but late in the draft, Ray Davis from Kentucky as a running back prospect. I think that he is very interesting as kind of a sleeper guy. So just a name to keep an eye on that if they get late in the draft and they do want to take a running back, he's a name I would like.